Hi, Grandma from Grandma's Footsteps. We're going to continue the picture today, but I have an apology to make. The first part of the video, for some reason unknown, except to the technology gods, the middle part of my video just disappeared. So what I've done is I've put together some pictures here for you, and I will, with the help of some text, show you how I continued with the picture. It only lasts for 2 minutes and then the video will be back, but as you can see here, we added some more trees behind the house, different colours, again laying down a thin layer, then putting in the trunks and the branches, and then some more colour on top. There's another little green tree there, and we've added some more details to the windows, to the door, and we've added some steps, which you'll see in the next picture. There we go. And now we're going to add some bushes. We've got a nice blue bush there, in front of the house to the left, and a lavender coloured one. They're ever so easy. Just do them the same as you do the trees, but don't forget to put the dark bits in. Right, now rocks, and more rocks. The rocks are very easy. I'm using a mixed brown, and I literally roll it into an approximate ball in my hand, and then just needle felt it down. I find with the rocks, it's easier to let them just do what they want to do, whatever shape they want to end up as. I don't try to shape them too much, because then they start to look a bit false. I'm adding a darker colour to the underneath of the rocks as a shadow, and lighter colours to the top to give a bit of a highlight. And I'll continue adding rocks now for some time, just to make it look like down onto the sea. And in between the rocks, I'm adding some extra green, so that they don't look sort of so stark, and they're built into the foliage and such like. A little bit of a close-up now, so you can see more of what I'm doing, but there's a bit of the dark shading going in there. Another highlight. You make both large and small rocks, putting them close together, that really nice, and it makes sort of like little rock pools and such like. I find the mixed blends are just perfect for this sort of thing. You can also do the rocks in grey, with a mixed blend of grey. I do that sometimes, but I do quite like the brown in this particular picture. I think it goes better with the colours that I've already used. I mean, obviously, if you want to make this picture, you could have more rocks or less rocks, depending on how you wish to do it. You could have some more bushes down on this right-hand side of the path here. Later on, you'll see that we do actually put in some more sort of greenery. I put in some long grass, basically, in between the rocks. And now we're going to add a tree into the foreground here. By adding something into the foreground, you want it a much stronger colour, and also it sends the picture, or in this case the house, back a little. The effect is it gives you more depth to your picture by putting things right close into the foreground here. Some of the rocks have that effect as well, but yeah. So just a strip of, in this case, merino, but it's a mixed one. It's a mixed fibre, and you put it down in a strip, and then you separate it out into sections. Again, as I said, there is a video specifically on making trees this way, and if you'd like to have a look at that. It's fairly simple, but just remember, trees are not dead straight, and things do go a bit wobbly in trees, and the branches get thinner as they go up. Just try to make sure that you're where the branches join the trunks, that you're getting a nice sort of V shape. They don't just sort of like come out at right angles. I'm not actually going to put any foliage on this tree. And at the bottom there, I'm just moving a little bit of the bush to cover where I stopped, or started in this case. So there we have it, the tree in the foreground. Just a little bit of interest. And now we're using more rocks to line the pathway. These are much smaller rocks, and obviously have been placed there, I wouldn't say in a straight line, but just placed to edge the path, to stop people walking on the garden, probably. From here you can see the sort of lavender or whatever it is that's growing up on the side of the house there. That was done again very similar to how I did the foliage on the trees. Just putting a little bit of different colour green in. Take some photos of your work as you go along. Look at the photos, and then you'll be able to gauge what else you need to do, what looks good, what needs adjusting. I mean, I do this all the time. It's a good job I do, because then we've got the photos for the beginning of this video, which where I lost the video footage and was able to put the pictures in. So at least you could see what we were doing. And guess what? More rocks. This time it's a sort of a rockery, I suppose. Just some large rocks over there. And just pulling a little bit of the bush down onto over the top of the rock there, which sort of puts it in its place, as it were. Highlights. The correct use of highlights and shadows can actually change the shape of something, make it look as if a different part of it is the front, which is what's happened with that rock that I've just completed there. And of course the darker colour and down for the shadows. Now I'm adding more detail up round the door. You've got to have roses around the door, so I'm just doing that now. You've got the greenery going up, and then the flowers on the roof, and a bit hanging down. A few little bits of lighter colour, just to show that the light is reflecting on it. Just add as many rocks as you feel you want or you need. You can always add some more if you wish later. All the time I'm doing a picture, I look for where the wool is sort of standing up a bit, and I will just give that a little bit more needle felting. Again, just adding different coloured greens between the rocks, because grass is not all one colour unless it's AstroTurf. And now we're putting in some tufts of longer grass. So I'm taking small pieces, laying them out and needle felting through the middle of each piece there, as you can see, and then I stand them up and trim them off to the length that I want, and then with the needle I just tease them upwards, so it's sort of like standing up long grass. Gives a bit of extra texture and depth. I really like doing it. There we go, get a bit of a close-up there, you can see what I'm doing. And I go in between the rocks and have some of the little bits will actually go over the top of the rocks, so it just makes everything sit nicer. There we go. You can use quite small pieces and trim them off to how you want. When you trim them, I usually trim them at an angle, but so they're not just dead straight across. But when you tease them out with your needle a little bit, it does tend to do away with that straight line anyway. Okay. So you see, that one is actually coming across the front of that rock next to it. And I don't always put them right up against the edge of the rock. Sometimes I come back a bit from the rock. Yeah, I think it works. And I would do something similar on the other side, and possibly with some different colours. If you put tufts of different colours in, they look like flowers, so you can do that as well. But I do like to make it look like the rocks are sitting in the long grass a bit, because obviously it would be very difficult to mow around there, so the grass is going to get fairly long. And I will probably add some more colour, different colour in just a moment. There we go, slightly different colour for a little bit extra interest there. Yeah. And then I do like to needle felt around the top edges of the rocks where I've put the grass in, so that the rocks sort of stand out a little bit better on the top edge, because I've put grass above them. And now I'm just doing a little bit more work on the sea. What I'm actually doing is adding strips of white. This is, I don't know why it works. It's definitely a Bob Ross trick, but it does, and it makes it look more like water. Yeah, it just does. So there must be a reason for it. But if you look there where we're putting some white along where the sea meets the mountains on the horizon, it just looks like it's the waves are perhaps lapping up against the edge there. And I will do the same for some of the rocks here, and it would look like, I suppose it's what they call white water, so that it looks as if the water is sort of lapping around the rock there. Seems to work. And sometimes I'll put a little bit of extra in the front of the rock like that, so that it looks like it's lapped up against it and gone back as the tide comes in, possibly. But yeah, and just some white lines there in the sea. There we go, a bit more. added a bit extra there where the water would be coming through between those two rocks. Even the small rocks will have some kind of water lapping up against it. I am hoping I'll be able to get this focusing problem sorted out before I do another video. It is really bad. I can only apologise. I've tried all sorts of different things on the camera settings, but it just doesn't seem to want to play ball at the moment. I think it must be the amount of movement, because I definitely didn't have this problem with my paper craft ones. Now I'm putting a piece of white in here, and I've got it at the wrong angle totally. It doesn't look right, so I will just pull it out. I don't like it, so I tried to replace it, but I've spread it out and just made it like a bit of a highlight on the water there. And again, just tapping down bits, needle felting down bits that stick up. I have put a bit of different colours in the pathway, so it's not just plain one colour, and I later cover it up with a lighter colour because it was just too stark. Thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and don't forget the Amazon links down below to some of the items I use, and take care out there.